Kick and chase by Mullins. Kick and chase again by Mullins. It'll be a miracle. Oh, it is a miracle. Fafita tries to crash his way over. He does. Fafita got the ball over the line.
Hunter's kick is over the sideline for a 40-20.
Yeah, g'day Chimmies and welcome to 40-20 Sports. Round 13's all done and dusted in the bag. First one of our major bye rounds finished for the year. Still got 16 and 19 to go, so we need to prep for them. Look, for us, wasn't a very good week. Scored pretty low. Our preparation for round 13 has always been a little bit poor this year, although we do have really good numbers for round 16 and 19. I think we've already got 15 players ready for round 16 and 12 ready for round 19. So our bye planning is looking good for now, going into the later weeks of what the bye period is going to be. We'll go through the formalities. Josh, with his team, the Blue Cobras, he got 1,123, which is a massive effort for only 13 players allowed to play, so well done to you, mate. Brendan, with his side, Burglator, they are still top of the 40-20 comp. I think they're about 50th overall, so well done, mate. Ferrets, we got 723. It is a bit of a shocker of a score. Look, had the lights of Danny Levi, Sam Hughes, those kind of guys. Although Danny Levi did quite well. I'm not sure how he didn't get 2 try assists when it was pretty clear cut. I think he did. But anyway, take the good with the bad. Only dropped about 100 spots. Dropped 98 spots into 151st. So the good start really got us up there. Even with a shocking score, we didn't drop too much. We're 151st. We're still in the charge, still in the chance for the top sort of guys there. We are 5th in the 40-20 Cup. So look, we're still pretty happy. This round, I think we will have 18 or 17 play. Little bit will have to depend on how Dylan Edwards is looking. Dylan Edwards is in, we'll have 18. If not, we will have 17. Depending on whether we play Sam Hughes or not will be the big factor there for us. Anyway, I'm going to hit off with, I didn't want to do this on Wednesday night like I usually do. I thought Thursday night I'll have better judgment over what has happened in the state of origin, have a bit more of an idea around trades that you can potentially use and people to avoid based on who I think will be there for round 2. Potentially a bit going on there with New South Wales. Queensland, I'm sure they will stick strong to their squad after a 38-10 victory. Look, the big one, obviously, the send-off of Joey Suaalii. Look, I understand the calls about Reece Walsh. He was slipping. You know, he also lowered his centre of gravity very, very low to start with. Joey Suaalii is a big man and didn't have much of a target to hit in the first place. Reece Walsh's legs go a little bit on him. Look, I think in the New South Wales camp, they will be harping on a little bit about, you know, its origin. They ruined the spectacle, which I believe they did. Initially, I was gutted. I'm a New South Welshman. I was gutted about the fact that, look, we sort of knew the result at the 7th minute. I think the spectacle was out of the game a little bit. You could hear it in the commentators' voices. Hammer coming down that left-hand side, scoring 2 quick tries. The excitement sort of got taken out of it a lot. I understand the sin bin and the send-off rules for Origin and typical NRL games. They genuinely have a little bit of leeway. Look, I'm trying not to sound biased here, but I just think there's so much money wrapped up in this Origin game. There is such a spectacle. If the NRL are going to sell it as a bit of a bloodthirst, you know, the rules are relaxed for Origin, I probably would have liked to have seen him only get the 10. I nearly think that there needs to be some other way of getting around this send-off thing as well. Like, take away this game. What if it happens next game for Queensland? They'll be blowing up about it and it'll be a contentious call. Happening in major semi-finals, happening in grand finals, the send-off where they lose a player early in the first, in under 10 minutes basically. You nearly know the outcome. In a quality game like this, the Maroons, they were always going to win in the 7th minute. You know, the Blues, I was pretty happy with their effort. Their forwards were fantastic. A couple of outside backmen did really, really well. But I just think that maybe we need to start looking at something. I don't know. I don't have the answer. But maybe looking at something along the lines of Suaalii sent for 10, 15, 20. gone for the game. Suaalii gone for the game, whether they're allowed to bring another bloke back on the field after 10 or 20 minutes or something. Not just saying this as a New South Wales supporter. I would hate to see it happen again in Origin. I would hate to see it happen in a grand final. I would hate to see it happen in a major semi-final where it just decides the outcome of the match, basically. The competition at those sort of games and that level is too good. I think, not judging the call, I just think the send-off, maybe we have to change the send-off. Do they get 10 minutes or 20 minutes where they're down a player of the team and that player is gone for the game and then they're allowed to bring another bloke on or something like that? I don't know. I don't have the answers. But anyway, we'll go through this a little bit. Teddy, I think he tried hard, although I highly believe that Dylan Edwards will be back there next week. So people looking to sell Dylan Edwards, I think that is probably a no-go. Toto was good. Stephen Crichton was fantastic defensively once he got back out on that edge. Zach Lomax was probably one of their best. I know he missed a crucial tackle on Selwyn Cobbo. He bumped him off like a speed bump, but he was really, really good. First set they got, I think he took the first two hit-ups. He took two hit-ups in the set for New South Wales. He was really good. The Hines and Luai factor, I thought they were pretty poor. I thought New South Wales had enough opportunity to score points. They just looked really fractured, really disjointed. It didn't really look like Nicho Hines or Jerome Luai was setting anything up. They couldn't get anything going. Take away the fact that they had lost a man, I still think you should be able to put together a decent set of six, especially with the players that they had around them. I just think they were pretty poor in that. Regardless of the man getting sent off, I don't know if Nicho Hines and Jerome Luai would have steered the Blues to a victory regardless of what happened. Jakey Debojevic only got the 25, 30 minutes sort of thing. I purely think that was based on the fact that they were down to 12 men and he doesn't have that great lateral speed. He is more of just a hit-up, defend kind of guy. I think they were just going for some blokes that had a bit more speed. Reece Robson was really good, 50-something tackles. I was stoked to see him play out the 80 minutes. I think that was a pretty good call. Maybe they can look at something for next game. If they are looking to keep Reece Robson for 80 minutes, they can put a utility on the bench there. Payne Haas was good. Liam Martin, look, a lot of people picked out the bad Liam Martin did, but Christ almighty, he did some good stuff. The shot on Hopgood was sensational. His kick chase was sensational. Had a bad miss on Benny Hunt, but I actually think it was a worse miss by Teddy there. I think Teddy just slipped off. Liam Martin did so much in defence. Teddy did a lot of work in attack, but not so much in defence. I just think Teddy probably should have made that tackle more than Liam Martin. Crichton was pretty good. McInnes failed to sort of get a bit of an impact. Isaiah Yeo, look, I'm going to be a little bit critical of Isaiah Yeo because he is so good at club level. I believe he is so good at club level. The last couple of years in Origin Arena, I just think he's been a little bit too predictable. He gets the ball passes. He doesn't bend the line back. He's a fantastic defender. I understand he's a fantastic defender, but I really think they miss Cam Murray for that sort of place there. I think the 13, Paddy Carrigan's a perfect example. He has good ball playing, but his speed in which he's able to play the ball, I just don't think Isaiah Yeo has that. He's a fantastic worker, competitor, Isaiah Yeo. I just don't know if he has the impact at State of Origin level that we need. Ola Kawadu, look, I don't think they used Ola Kawadu how they should have. Pretty disappointing game from him. I thought he had a good couple of runs at Tommy Dearden, but Hines just wasn't using him as a ball runner close to the line. They look really disjointed. Spencer Leniu, he will not miss a game of Origin, bar injury. I think for the next couple of years, he was sensational. When he came on, he had a lot of energy through the middle, looked really good. Hudson Young, limited time as well. Just want to touch on Zachy Lomax as well. I cannot believe that the Nicho Hines, Jerome Luai weren't targeting him with kicks. They were putting kicks up for Tedesco coming through the middle. I think the only time they kicked to Zach Lomax on the right-hand edge there was when they scored a try from it. So I just don't understand a bit of the reasoning of not going back there. But anyway, that's what happened. For the Queenslanders, look, I don't think there was any huge standouts other than Hammer and obviously Daly Cherry Evans. Congratulations, Cherry Evans got the win. They just did what they needed to do. They went through their motions of a particular 13-on-12 game. They lost their way a little bit after half time. I think maybe they got in the dress sheds and thought, we've got this. But yeah, they got back into a groove. I think Cherry Evans gave him a bit of a kick up the bum and got him back into a bit of a groove thing. They rolled through their sets and then they just fatigued the Blues. It was exactly what we envisaged would happen at this level. The Blues just did quite well to hold on for a bit. But yeah, I think the Maroons, they were more just laying a platform, getting the ball, tiring them out, and they did that fantastically. Reece Walsh, look, this is a tricky bit. Yes, I think it potentially is a send-off because Reece Walsh missed that game. He will now miss rounds 14 and 15 due to the concussion protocol. So that's a big argument for the send-off as well. I'm not arguing the send-off I'm just more arguing the fact of what the send-off should entail. Xavier Coates and Tuolagi, look, they were safe. They were nothing special, but they were safe. Val Holmes had a relatively quiet game. He should back up, you would imagine, after that. The hammer absolutely brained it. When he went to fullback, his ability to back up, his speed, it just cut New South Wales to pieces. So Hammer had a really good game. I think he was quite hard done by to not get man of the match. 3 tries and not getting man of the match, a big ask. Tommy Dearden, he was quite good defensively, I thought, coming up against Olakawadu. I think he got bumped off a couple of times, but he held his own. He was quite good. Cherry Evans went missing a little bit after half-time, but again, he just steered the ship. That 40-20 that he got was instrumental to the Maroons' comeback, not the comeback, but, they kicked him into gear a bit. Their forwards were, I was pretty critical of Jaden Stewart, Jeremiah Nanai having to play huge minutes, but they handled it without fuss. Maybe 13 on 12 helped that with the minutes there, but they played the big minutes. They played them well. Benny Hunt, the dozer, getting a double. He was phenomenal. He epitomises what Queensland are at Origin time. So he was really, really good. The bench, Harry Grant just came on and tackled his backside off. Shouldn't be any worries about him backing up. Mawaki Fodawaker and Jermaine Hopgood came in, did a job. They were solid without being exceptional and did nothing wrong. They will be there for the next game, I'm sure. Selwyn Cobbo, the most probably contentious call being there for Origin. Billy Slater looks like an absolute genius with him coming on now. Moved into the centres, allowed the hammer to create space at fullback. He was really good as well, Selwyn Cobbo. I thought he getting the ball around the edge that Suaalii was off until they put Critter there. I thought Critter handled him pretty well, but Selwyn Cobbo, phenomenal having him on the bench, so did really well. Touching on Ashley Klein, regardless of the send-off, I think for both sides, he had a bit of a Barry Crocker. We always talking about it like Origin's a different beast. Not forget the send-off, just the 6 agains he was calling for both sides were, not blatant. The penalties that were getting blown were just, a little bit haphazard. I thought Ashley Klein was pretty keen to get the whistle going. Adam G, I'm not sure what is going on with Adam G, but the way he officiated the grand final last year, I cannot believe he didn't get the role this round. I think the power brokers are going to have a little bit to say in what is going on with Ashley Klein for next Origin game. But anyway, we will get stuck into the Supercoach stuff now. Buys for the round. We need to watch this. This is always going to be an issue. Round 14, always going to be a tricky one with 3 teams on the buy. So we'll get into it. The Friday game at 8 o'clock, the Dragons up against the Tigers. It'll be very interesting to see. I think Benny Hunt, he probably backs up, only playing the 40 minutes for Origin. I think Zachy Lomax will probably back up. It will be interesting to see if Jaden Sewer playing pretty much full game for Queensland Origin. I think he'll probably be the one that is most unlikely to back up, although he is probably the least Supercoach relevant players there. Running through the side there, look, there's not a great deal going on. Jack de Belin, we brought Jack de Belin in last week. He had a really, really good game. Raymond Faitala-Mariner having a blinder last week. I am not sold on it. I was kind of interested in Raymond Faitala-Mariner throughout the start of the year. I thought maybe he might get that spot, but he has some really low scores in him. Jack de Belin is proving a case to be a purchase. Jewel, front row forward, second row forward. look, I really, really happy with Jack de Belin, 84 on the weekend, so cannot fault that. Other than that, they're pretty quiet. For those looking at Jack de Belin, he's 640k. Got the Tigers this week. The draw is really, really handy. As a break even of 55. The last couple of scores there, we pointed this out last round for him. His last 5 games, 83, 55, 75, 66, and then an 81, against the Penrith side. They were a bit decimated, but anyway, their run of the Tigers and Manly coming up, they don't play round 16, but they do play 17, 18, and 19, so the bye coverage is still really good with Jack de Belin, but look, he's probably the only one worth talking about on that side. Zach Lomax, if he backs up, that'll be handy for owners as well. For the Tigers, again, not a great deal going on. It came out that Lachlan Galvin has been playing with a crook hand. He's been getting needles. Whether we see him rested at some stage over the origin period or not, I'm not sure, but coming off the bye, can't help. Alex Lobb comes into the side. He's probably a wait for another 2 or 3 weeks coming in. Last week, he got bugger all points, I think 5. So he'll be one to watch over the next couple of weeks, see if he does any damage, see what his sort of output is. Lockie Galvin, he's been superb. He is a play nearly every week unless he comes up against the likes of a Penrith Storm or Roosters squad, I believe. Looked really good. He's scoring phenomenally. Api Coruscant, he becomes a very good buy, a very important buy over the origin period now. I was a little bit worried watching, without them having a backup hooker, how Reece Robertson will go for the 80, but I think he absolutely brained it. So I think we'll probably see Appy not come onto the bench. I think if they do put a bench on the New South Wales team, it will be a guy like Burton who can play halves and centre wing, fullback, not fullback, but centre wing as well, if called upon. He's 515k, a break even of 19. Apparently Lob can kick goals, so that might be one to watch. Not sure who's going to get that off him, but we will see. We'll see what happens there. Samuel Afainu, he comes into the fray as a second row forward, front row forward. He's very popular this round as well. I was looking at him, but I've got another guy on the horizon that I think I am going to run. Look, with my origin buy period looking pretty good for the rest of the year, I don't know if I'm going to go to this guy. I think there's a more potent man that I can probably go for. But Samuel Afainu, 415k, break even of 13. He looks really good when they get attacking ball. And I know they've got a bit of an easy run. They play nearly every game for the rest of the bye period now. I just don't know about his up and down sort of point scoring that he's been getting. I think his output is really good, but his last couple of scores, 48, 39, 36, and then an 82 against the Cowboys. I think a lot of people are going to watch that 82 and get really, really excited and think that's what they can predict out of him each day. Look, if you're looking for a guy that's going to get mid-40s in your front row forward, I think then he's an option, and he's a decent play over these last couple of bye rounds that we've got coming up. Other than that, Justin Matamua, look, he was named to start at 13 last week as well, but ended up going into the bench with Fanua Pole coming in, so one to watch there. Going into the Titans versus the Rabbitohs. For the Titans, they get Jojo Fafita, Kieran Foran back, Philip Sami comes back, so that's really promising for them. Keanu Kinney had a brainer last hit out against the Broncos. I wouldn't be going there as far as fullbacks are concerned. I think you need to run the guns there for that. But anyway, Kieran Foran coming back into the squad is really good for the likes of the forward pack there. David Fafita, I am probably looking at captaining him just with a couple of the matchups that are coming in this week. I think this is a really good one for him. Running at the likes of Michael Cheekham and a Cody Walker, I think that's a pretty good spot for him to sort of be at. I'll probably be looking at captaining him for sure. The guy that I want to have a little bit of a look at is this young man, Pahulu. Now, he is cheap as cheap. The Titans play round 16 and 19, so very good buy schedule. The points from him aren't that crash hot. The run's really good. The next couple of games, he's got Souths, Tigers, the Warriors at home. Round 17 he has off. Then he has the Sharks and then Para in the bye. Back into Manly for that round 21 as well. So he plays a lot of good games coming up for us. The big thing I want to talk about here is, look, his scores aren't crash hot. He's been getting, the last 4 games, he's averaging 31 points, although that was for about 34 minutes, I believe. So last game, he played 52 minutes. I think that is the thing that we've got to start taking into account now that Jamin Jolliffe is out. Mawaki Fotuaika is backing up from Origin, and it is a bit of a slow turnaround there, a Saturday game for them. So I'm not sure how much they're going to use Mawaki Fotuaika. I think he'll back up. He'll be fine. But I think Pahulu is a decent buy this week. 259K. Has a break even of 21. I think for the next couple of weeks, hold him over the buy period. I think he is a better option than Sam Hughes. I am looking to trade him out for Joey Chan, though. Joey Chan's doing nothing. Josiah Pahulu, he'll at least get some points on the board. If he can get mid-30s to 40s like a Morgan Smithies is getting at the moment, I'm happy to have him for 259K. So one to watch out there. He's looking very likely. David Fifita, like I said, looks to be a buy now. One of the most purchased in the game at the moment. With Queensland having a win, I highly doubt that they change that forward rotation or that forward play. The likes of the 18th man that jumped in there, Felice Kafusi, I think he'll come into the fray if Jaden Sewer, Carrigan, or anyone like that gets injured. So I think we can sort of pen David Fifita in as a good little option. For the Rabbits, Latrell Mitchell, one of the most bought in this week. I think with Suaalii getting 4 to 5 weeks, I think they're going to need an X factor in that centre position. I think it is going to be Latrell Mitchell. They will figure something out. Crichton showed his ability last night. He can play right-hand side, left-hand side, centre. I think they will move Latrell Mitchell back into the left-hand centre. So if you were looking at Latrell Mitchell, I was as well. I thought he may be a trade out for a David Armstrong. I don't think I'm going to make that trade now. I think Latrell Mitchell comes into Origin contention next week. Not awed by going to Melbourne, not awed by going to Queensland for State of Origin. I think he'll probably make it in there. Cody Walker, looked at Cody Walker. I sort of told a couple of people that around the round 14 marker, we should be looking at Cody Walker. Look, I like it. I don't love it. I've never loved the Cody Walker thing because he does have some crazy low games in him. But the last 4 weeks, he's got points of 66 against Melbourne, 51 against Penrith, 43 against St George, and then a 99 against the Cowboys. Whether the Rabbitohs are back or not, I am unsure. His break-even of 29 is good. He is as cheap as chips. 162K discount. He is 543K. If you love gambling, I would be running it. I probably can't see it, but the run's quite good. They've got the Titans this week, which is a decent mashup. They've got the Broncos, who are going to be without Reece Walsh. Manly for round 16 without the likes of DCE and Tommy Turbo there, missing their 2 best players, I'd say, and Jakey Olakawadu as well. If he retains his spot, that is a decent spot for Cody Walker to be in. Doesn't play 17, but plays round 19 as well. So Cody Walker's good Origin coverage. He's cheap. If you treat him as a guy who you want to average 50 to 55 points, I think you will only be impressed by that purchase. Jackie White in the 6, I'm probably a no-go zone. He goes back to being what he is. Damien Cook, again, not overly interested. The one that's coming into the fray here is Keon Kalamatangi. Now, scored a massive score. Oh, why is that not coming up? Let's try that. Oh, that's not working either. Sorry about this. The new bloody system that they've got going on here. We'll try that. There we go. 584K, -1 break even. He is down 42K on his previous seasons. Look, the promising thing for Keon is that he is starting in the number 13 role. A lot of people are going to say Cam Murray is due back soon, which he is, but I think he goes into that blue squad as well. Don't know who he goes in for, but I can't see a world where they leave Cam Murray out of that, which is only beneficial for Keon if he does play in the 13 role. 133 last week. He's been decent without being fantastic. He is just consistently busting out 50-point games. 58, 584K, it's what you expect from him. The good break even, I think, is going to entice some people. The bye coverage is really good. That's also enticing some people. So be interesting to see what happens there with him over the next couple of weeks. Alrighty, for the Saturday game at 5:30, we have the Cows up against the Warriors up there in North Queensland. Look, it is a bit of a guessing game to see what Cowboys team is going to run out. Nanai, Tuolagi, Reece Robson, Reuben Cotter, Tom Dearden, and Val Holmes, all named on the extended bench. Yeah, look, I think, again, a bit like the Dragons, I think Nanai maybe doesn't back up. Reece Robson probably comes in but doesn't play 80. Reuben Cotter probably comes in, doesn't play 60, probably might play 40. Dearden, I think he'll back up, and I think Val Holmes will probably back up. There was no injury concerns. None of them looked like they were rolling around at any stage with any niggling injuries, so I think most of those guys will back up, although it's a short turnaround on the Saturday. They will probably be absolutely shagged. But anyway, Scotty Drinkwater at the back proved phenomenal last round with a 100-plus game against the Roosters. I don't think anyone saw that coming. I traded Joey Manu in at the 11th hour after Tedesco got ruled out. I wish I put Drinkwater in, although got to be a bit careful here. Scotty Drinkwater is one of the most traded in this week. Look, he's a fantastic player, but he also doesn't cover round 16 and 19. So all these guys from the Cowboys that were once very good options become a little bit iffy. Helam Lukey, not massive on him either, didn't have a fantastic game. Fini Furiaki repaid the faith for a lot of owners, although I am a little bit worried if Jeremiah Nanai comes into that side. Fini Furiaki will more than likely go to the bench. Yeah, look, that's a hard game to sort of comment on. Just you got to look out for the 24-hour teams there. They will announce that on Friday, 5:30. That'll give you a bit more of an indication of who is playing there. For the Warriors, Chance Nickel-Klokstad, he comes back. Really good to see for Chance Nickel-Klokstad. He's coming back into the fray. They do get a lot of men back this week, so that's really good to see for the Warriors. Had a good couple of wins the last couple of weeks with a bit of a devastated side. Dallin, he's in contention as well. Look, he came back, nice game at fullback, although I'm just, with Tamare Martin and Chanel Harris-Tavita as the halves, I just can't go near him unless Sean Johnson's in that side. Tamare Martin had a whale of a game last week. He may be a bit of a purchase for people. I more just think he's a fantastic hold for those who hold. Adam Fanua-Blake comes back into the fray. I had a bit of a look at Adam Fanua-Blake, but as a premium guy, 700-something K, I just couldn't go near it. There's a couple of other guys I sort of want to have a bit of a look here. Jackson Ford starting at front row forward. Very interesting. Very interesting the fact that Jackson Ford is named at the front row. He was a pretty good purchase last year. He's been playing really well this year. But yeah, interesting to see him start at the number 10. Wade Egan, Murata Niokora, Mitch Barnett. Now, this is the guy that I'm pretty interested in, to be fair. I wanted to see how the New South Wales forwards went last night, and I think they did a pretty good job. I don't think there'll be too many changes to that forward pack. I think potentially the halves and an outside back will get thrown in. Mitch Barnett, break even of 33. He's 559K. He is dual front row, second row. His games coming up are quite good. He has the Cowboys when they are a devastated side. Melbourne round 15 at Go Media Stadium, so that's good. 16, the Gold Coast. 17, they have the Broncos. The Broncos will be coming off Origin, so they'll have a lot of players having to back up off that. Into the Doggies. Doesn't play round 19, but does play round 20, which we're going to figure out these next couple of weeks. The game after the bye round is quite hard. 559K. Now, as far as a gun genuine 2RF goes, I probably don't see him as that. But as far as a front row forward goes, I think his games now that he is playing 80 minutes are probably something I'm going to be looking at a little bit more closely. I haven't finalised trades or anything, but next week I do need a front row forward. I have Sam Hughes and Josh Curran along with Jack DeBellin as my front row forwards at the moment. If I can run Mitch Barnett in my second row this week, I will put him up into my front row, and it'll be a front row of Jack DeBellin and Mitch Barnett for this week. For this week that will be. Mitch Barnett, 66 and 77 over the last 2 weeks playing near 80-minute games. He had a 42 up against the Roosters the week before. I just think at 559k, the bye rounds are really good. He covers round 14. He covers round 20. He just looks like a slam dunk at front row. The games before, there's 80s in there. There's 56, 59s. He is averaging 58 points for the year. So you're pretty much paying for what you get, but I'm happy for a discount of nearly $200,000, $180,000 on Adam Fanua-Blake. He probably doesn't have the hundreds in him, but he definitely has the 60s and 80s and 70s in him. So I think we're going to look at running to go Mitch Barnett this round. The trade out will be for Morgan Smithies. So Morgan Smithies getting 40, Mitch Barnett getting 60, and his dual front row 2RF makes me happy. Tohu comes back into the fray. Look, I don't think he'll play 80, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does play 80. So that's what's happening there. That's probably all for that game. For the Broncos versus the Sharks, Broncos have named Reece Walsh. That is no chance of happening, so we will have to look at that. I think Reece Walsh is probably a sell. Will miss 14-15, won't play 16 due to Origin. Probably has a bit of a breather come round 17, and then won't be there for round 19 again. So Reece Walsh is probably a sell, and we'll look to go from there. Apart from that, Selwyn Cobbo, I dare say he'll back up. He is named as well, Ezra Mam, Jock Madden in the halves there, so that's good for the Broncos fans. Payne Haas, he'll back up. Look, yeah, there's not a great deal going on here. Brendan Piakura, he could be an option. He's very, very cheap now, although has the low games in him. I just don't like it. Xavier Willison seems to be going all right off the bench there, but yeah, the big news out of that will be Reece Walsh is potentially a sell. Well, look, I think he is a sell, those games being out. So we'll move on from there. Other than that, yeah, not a great deal. We did have the likes of Karapani. I think people were looking to put him in, but again, gone, will not play. Oh, look, actually, potentially, Karapani, he could come in the centres with the move of Selwyn Cobbo, potentially to fullback. So one to watch there. Yeah, that could be the option. Karapani, if he comes on, he could be an option. He's bottom dollar. He has a very, very low break-even. 2 games in the 60s. Could be an option there if you're looking to downgrade someone and upgrade elsewhere. One to watch over the next couple of days anyway. For the Sharkies, they've not named Nico Hines. For those who sold Nico Hines, I would be looking to reverse the trade. I just think his Origin game was a little bit lackluster. He could not organise the team around. I know it is 12 on 13, but still he had a lot of opportunities and they looked very, very clunky, the Blues. Could potentially play next round into a good bye period if he isn't chosen for Origin there. So, Kyle Liro, he's been really, really good. Ronaldo Mulatalo, a lot of people were looking at getting him in last week. Look, probably a decent option with the likes of Hines being out for the next week. 535k, break even of 74. He's at a massive discount rate. I just can't do it. A lot of people were saying, he gets in the 70s without a try and stuff, which, he got 73 back on the weekend. But I just can't go there. The games of 22, 45, 37 over the last couple of weeks, 50. I just don't think he's an option anymore. I think there's better options out there that you can probably run with. Other than that, Daniel Atkinson, possibly a sell if anyone has him. I don't know how many people are running with him. Braden Trindle, he comes back into the halves. The back there, Siasofa Talakai is probably the only one worth mentioning in that. Brittany Nikora, he's been relatively poor. Cam McInnes, he'll back up. Siasofa Talakai, now he is really, really cheap. He also comes in for Teague Wilton, who has done an AC joint. I believe he'll be out for quite some time. Siasofa Talakai still has a break-even of 74, so you can probably leave it for a week if you wanted to see just how many minutes he gets. He's down 180k on his last year's price. Look, he scores last couple of games of 14.35. That 14 will drop out, so then he will be a little bit of an option. His points per minute have been absolutely incredible. In the games, 19 minutes, 54 points. 31 minutes, 56 points. 22 minutes, 48 points. He's running at a point per minute of over 2 for that little stretch there of those 4 games. 35 minutes for 14 points. That's against Penrith. We'll scrap that. A point a minute in 36 minutes for 35 points. It'll be interesting to see how he goes in the back row, what his output will be, how he'll go. It'll be interesting, but he's, look, at 389k, he is very well priced. So good to see there. For the Sunday game, Storm versus the Knights, Fa'alogo stays in. We have Pappy. He is still not in there for the side, still not named, so still out with that injury. Look, if you've got him, hold him. I think he'll have a whale of a game up against the Knights. The Knights were pretty poor last week, so good to see. Grant Anderson comes in for Will Warbrick. Probably not much to mention. He's got a very low score in his average there. Jerome Hughes, very popular buy for the likes of Nico Hines. I'd probably be reversing that trade if you can. If you've got the numbers for this week, I'd be looking elsewhere. I think Nico Hines, the Blues love changing their halves partners up. I can see a world where Nico Hines plays the next couple of games. I think he'll miss. I think Moses will come into contention. Also, the talk about Mitch Moses only needing to play round 12 and he'd be sweet for Origin, I think that is something that's deterring me from selling Nico Hines to Jerome Hughes as well. 682k, he's down 40k on his last price, a break even of 117, so he has a massive break even. So it could bite in the arse to go Jerome Hughes, lose a heap of cash. I know Nico Hines has a massive break even, but still he has got those big, huge games in him. Last couple of games, he can go huge. Look, he's got a 100 score in his arsenal, 108 against the Broncos in round 5, 95 against the Bunnies in round 8, 76 last week against Manly, but he does have games of 22, 47, 42, so does have a good buy schedule over the next couple of weeks. He's got the Knights, Warriors, Dolphins, Raiders, Tigers, a very good buy schedule. Doesn't play round 19, but look, I just don't think I can go Nico Hines. I'm going to run the gauntlet. Even if he does go well, Jerome Hughes, I can probably pick him up if Nico Hines is named in that Origin squad for round 2 of the Origin series. Anyway, Harry Grant, I think he'll back up. He only played the 40 minutes. It was just a tackling machine. The fact that they've got till game on Sunday is only beneficial for him. He'll be fully fit for that. Eliasa Katoa, he is 100% a buy for the next couple of games. I think he's going to be phenomenal for the Storm over the next couple of weeks. Like I said, with Jerome Hughes, really good buy schedule, so I can only applaud people looking to get him in. I think him and Dave Fafita over the next couple of weeks are going to be really beneficial for teams. Other than that, not a lot going on there for the Storm. For the Knights, David Armstrong, huge news, retains his position. Bit of chat there from Barry Toohey, who is well known in the Newcastle Knights. Looked to say Fletcher Sharp was every chance of making his debut this week. Not to be, thank God. Look, I'm happy to keep Dave Armstrong for another week. I think I'm not expecting much out of him. Poor game in the wet, but the 4 games before that, he's been really, really good. So he would have been very, very hard pressed to get sold. Mapapalangi, look, okay, without being great. I think you've got another week there to look at him before you start making an option of do we pick him, do we not pick him. Dan Gagai, solid, but still not a fantastic purchase. I just don't know if I can get around these Knights players with what's going on. Jacob Safidi is named, and Daniel Safidi is named as well with that injury. Looked like they got injured there for a little bit, but anyway, they keep that. Brayley, he's been really good. 53 points, I think, on the weekend. If you've got him as your backup hooker, that is a really good option. Keep him in there. He's doing well. Kai Pearce-Paul and Dylan Lucas keep the starting 2RF spots there. Frizzell coming on the bench. Look, he seems to be playing more of a middle forward role, Frizzell. So I'm thinking Kai Pearce-Paul and Dylan Lucas both get that starting edge role for the rest of the season now. Other than that, not a great deal there. Will Price named in the reserves with Fletcher Sharp. A lot of people calling for Will Price to get put in the halves there for the Knights, although I doubt that's going to happen with Adam O'Brien coming out and saying he's just not quite Origin ready yet. For the Sunday game, 4 o'clock game, we have got the Panthers up against the Manly Seagulls. Dane Laurie comes into the fullback position. We'll touch on it real quickly. Man named in jersey number 23, Dylan Edwards. Apparently the quad strain, he was, 50-50 to play Origin 1. Do I think you play this game? Look, I hope he does. I've got him still in my squad. It gives me another man for the round. I wouldn't be surprised if they rest him, although it will probably factor on how much they rest these other blokes. We got Isaiah Yeo, Liam Martin coming back, Jerome Luai, Brian Toto. I think a couple of those guys get rested, and I think they may be looking to back up against the loss last week. Maybe Dylan Edwards gets a shot. I'm not sure. But anyway, it'll all depend on how good his quad's going. We'll have to have a look. We'll keep an eye on that. Apart from that, Paul Alamotti. Now, Paul Alamotti, I thought decent without being great. But look, he's been really, really good the last couple of weeks. I think everyone thought he was going to fit into that mould of what Taylor May was doing. The news of Taylor May potentially getting sacked from the club immediately is huge news. Paul Alamotti, 504K. He's already made 90K, so he is a little bit more expensive. Break even of -4. Look, he's been playing really well. I think he gives a little bit more than what Taylor May was giving. The last two games where he's played the 80, 67 and 96 up against the Sharks and the Dragons there, which is really promising scores. The only bit of a bummer there is they don't play round 16 or 19, so I'm a little bit turned off about that, although round 14, 17 and 20 is really, really promising there for Penrith. Like I said, I think people are going to struggle to get the 17 this week. It's going to be really tricky to get 17 players out there this week. So if you're looking at Paul Alamotti, sorry about that. God almighty, learn to speak. I think he's a decent buy. For the likes of Jack Cole, Jerome Luai, they are looking to back up. Brian Toto is named, so good for owners there. Other than that, not a great deal going on. Jack Cole, look, a pretty good buy, really. I think the ship has probably sailed on that. Now with the origin period, the round 13, if you wanted to bring him in, I think round 13 was probably good coverage for that. But from now on, I'm probably going against it. The forwards, Scotty Sorensen, he comes back in. Liam Martin, he is named. Isaiah Yeo is named. If they do play, I do think they will have limited minutes. Liam Henry, massive effort from him, 70-something tackles on the weekend. Need to be looking at him now that he is bottomed in price. He will have a negative break even. He will come into contention, I'm sure, for a couple of players, a couple of people's teams. For the Manly Seagulls, huge news. Lehi Hopewate retains the fullback position with Talatal Kula coming in to the centres. Massive news for Lehi Hopewate. I'll be looking at him next round, I think. Look, he is fullback only, which is very, very disappointing. Be interesting to see what happens with him and what goes on with all these Origin players. I am probably going to let it go. You know, I don't think I can afford to put that into my squad unless he comes out and bangs out a 150 or something. Probably not going to be looking at that. Also up against Penrith, very good defensively. We all know that. Talatal Kula, he is named back in the centres. For people who jumped on him early, I probably think that was, look, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but probably a bit of a bad move now that he is named in the centres. Ruben Garrick named in the centres there. Luke Brooks, Daly Cherry Evans named to back up. I probably think Daly Cherry Evans does back up, being a Sunday game. So not much to worry about there for owners. Lukey Brooks, God, I've been trying to get that man out of my squad for the last 10 weeks now. I just can't do it. He's earned himself a starting halfback spot for the Ferrets this week, so congratulations to Luke Brooks. In the forward pack there, Hamal Olakawadu, I think he'll back up. There'll be no dramas there. Jakey Dvojevic probably backs up, no dramas as well. They had very limited game time for Origin, both of those guys. So I think they will be right to play. Carl Lawton gets the nod there for the 9, but I don't think he's an option either. Righto, for the Dogs versus Parramatta Eels, this will be a cracker, I reckon. Western Sydney Derby. That is the Monday game, 4 p.m. Don't forget, Monday game, 4 p.m. there for the Dogs Eels. For the Doggies, Jacob Carraz. Oh, God, I feel for owners. We had to avoid him because he was in the centres and a bit exy. 30-something points on the weekend. When you needed it most, he did not deliver. Named in the centres for round 13. Absolute heartbreak for you guys. Comes back onto the wing this week. Look, he'll probably turn up this week, you poor bastards. But anyway, Jacob Carraz, good. Looks good for the wing spot there. for the Doggies. Bronson Xerri was really good. Stephen Crichton, he'll back up, no dramas. Matt Burton and Sexy Sexton gets named for the halfback role there. I think that's a good choice by the Doggies there to put Sexton in. I think he offers a little bit more than what Drewy Hutchinson was giving there. Max King, he is named in the front row with Sam Hughes. Look, the Sam Hughes saga continues. Started the first 20 minutes, came off, didn't come back on, was diabolical, 15. I think after round 16, he is going to be a sell. I'm probably going to keep him for then, but I just don't know who I'm going to put him to. I think if you wanted to go a Sam Hughes to Pahulu, I think that is a fantastic buy. You pocket 100K and you're guaranteed more minutes. So the Sam Hughes thing, I don't know what the hell's going on with there, but yeah, needs to go. Jacob Preston, huge. 100-something points, 2 tries last week. Really good from Jacob Preston. I probably don't see him as a buy now with already played a buy round. But for those who did jump on him, fantastic work, fantastic super coaching. Jamin Salmon keeps the spot there in the 12. Joshy Curran coming off the bench, got 70-something on the weekend, scored a nice little try there. He just looks like a set and forget there at the front row position. For the Parramatta Eels, Gutho with a 66 last week comes into contention for a fullback role there. Looks really, really positive. Blaze Tulagi is the big one, named at centres there. I needed him to get named somewhere other than the bench. I think he probably gets that bench role there for the rest of the year. Now that Ben Simmons is out. Simonson, sorry. Minus 19 break even. All we need to do is for him to take the field. He's 538K. In his first opening game where he did play centres, he scored a nice try running over the top of Tommy Trbojevic, getting a 67. So look, if he can get anywhere near around 50 points for me this week, I'll be absolutely stoked. Keep him for another couple of weeks there. See how he goes. He might be a good little option for the rest of the bye period there. So very good for Tulagi owners. Dill Brown, Mitch Moses, they come back into contention. Really good to see Dill Brown and Mitch Moses get those combinations going again. Good to see. Brendan Hands, look, he's a popular purchase this week. I can see it. The Lussick not getting a start. Looks like Barrett's going to go the way of Hands. 246K for Brendan Hands, minus 20 break even. I think it is all but a slam dunk. Bryce Cartwright, another one. He looks really good. 79 on the weekend. I just don't know if I can run the Cardi Party. Sean Lane, big sell. Big sell for Sean Lane. I think he needs to go now that the bye period is started into effect and he's got his round 13 out of the road. Look, yeah, trades. Mitch Barnett and Pahulu, I think, are going to come into our squad. If we shoot that, we will probably be right for round 16 and 19. So that'll probably be us. I think we'll run with that. And that'll probably do us for today for this. Anyway, guys, take care. Good luck on the weekend and good luck in super coaching.